Kristen and I ran up the stars skip pin, every other one. I let her go take a hot bath first and went to get something to cover myself up with. The first thing I spotted was a pair of Benjamin's underwear. I pulled them on. It felt funny since I hadn't worn underwear in a while now. I didn't dawdle over those feeling too long. I wanted to race back downstairs to check on Doc Wilson for myself and to show Ma my new farm license. "Wow, that is a big goose you got," I said, admiring the bump on the back of his head. He shot me a crooked smile and closed his eyes as he rested a towel filled with ice against his throbbing welt. Without opening his eyes, he said to Pa, "When you're ready to slaughter that pig, you'll let me have first whack at it, won't ya?" Pa grinned. "You got it. How about next weekend?" When Doc Wilson was feeling up to it, Pa insisted that he drive him home. After a little fussing, Doc Wilson gave in and Pa drove the Doc's car while Christopher followed them with his own truck. You know, in the Bible it says that everything works out for the good, and I guess now I understand that better now. During the drive back, Pa and Christopher got to do a load of talking. You should have seen how relieved Megjin was when the two of them came home laughing. Pa, Christopher, and Megjin spent the better part of that evening talking in Pa and Ma's room. The rest of us were curious cause we couldn't hear nothing that was going on inside either, so we tried to keep busy to keep from going crazy with the not knowing. I guess everyone was extra hungry too, cause the whole lot of us ate enough for 2 meals. Connie cooked up a mess of stew bake. If any don't know what stew bake is, it's loads of taters, corn, beans, bacon, and whatever other stuff you want to toss into a big frying pan. When it's almost done, you got to pour cornbread batter over the lot of it and shove the whole thing in the stove for a bit. Connie makes it good, but Ma makes it loads better. Later, after everyone had gone to bed, Vincent woke me up by poking me in the forehead and asking, "Are you awake?" "Well, I am now," I grumbled. I'd been having a really nifty dream where I was a secret agent, and now I was annoyed that Vincent had interrupted it. "I'm hungry," he said, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You're what?" I asked bitterly. He made a face as if I was the one being bothersome. "Well, I don't know if it is okay to go get a snack or not," he said. I rubbed at my eyes. "What are you talking about?" He pulled my hand impatiently away from my eyes. "What if they are still awake and talking?" What time is it?" I asked. It was Benjamin that answered energetically, "Nearly 1:30. In the morning." I whined with disbelief. "Do you think it is okay to go get a snack?" Benjamin asked. "Yeah, we're hungry," Vincent added. I was getting really upset now. I mean, that was a really good dream, and those 2 rat-brained buffoons woke me up just to tell me they had a case of the munchies. What are you asking me for? It's not like we've never snuck down in the middle of the night. I must have been talking louder than I thought because Vincent pressed his hand against my mouth. Taking a page out of Kristen's book, I gave his hand a good chomp. I could tell that it hurt by the way his eyes nearly popped out of his head. He sucked on his bottom lip, pressed his aching hand against his thigh and moaned softly. "Danjit, that hurt," he sniveled. "Serves you right," I said softer this time. "Now leave me alone so I can go back to sleep." I huffed, rolled over and squeezed my eyes tightly closed, hoping I could continue that same dream. But my brothers weren't willing to let me alone. "Come with us," Vincent pleaded, and I could tell by the sound of his voice that he was scared but was trying not to show it. "Okay, but if we get caught, I am telling Dad that it was your idea," I said, throwing off my covers and climbing out of bed. My diaper felt a little heavier than it had when I'd gone to bed, and I knew I'd already wet in it at least once, but wasn't worried cause I was sure it could take a lot more. The 2 of them made me take the lead. They are both such cowards. We crept down the steps and I stopped at the bottom to make sure everyone was indeed in bed. They were. However, when I had stopped, my stupid brothers kept coming down and nearly plowed me over. "Hey, watch it," I grunted softly. One of them, I don't know which, whispered, "It's so dark." "Yeah, what were you expecting?" I shot back, "Christopher and Megjin are probably sleeping in the other room." Back to Belly, the three of us tiptoed through the dark to the pantry. I knew from experience that if I opened the door too fast that it would squeak, so I was careful to open as slowly as possible. Once it was opened, I pulled out a jar from the very back of the third shelf from the floor. The third shift is where Ma keeps the jars of sweet peaches, and I was sure to take it from the back, cause those are the freshest ones, plus I figured Pa or Ma would be less likely to realize that we'd snuck it. Now typically whenever we sneak a late night snack, we'll smuggle it back up to our room to limit our chances of being caught, but for some reason this time we didn't. Instead, the three of us sat down on the kitchen floor, knees to chin, and ate our late night snack under the cover of darkness. At the time, none of us gave any thought to the fact that when we opened the jar it didn't make that familiar burping sound. It wouldn't be until days later that we would realize that we hadn't heard the sound made when the seal is broken between the cannon lid and the glass jar. Without speaking, we took turns thrusting our eager fingers into the jar and pulling out a wedge, then quietly slurping it down like a big fat noodle. Once the peaches were gone, we took turns sipping the juice straight from the jar until we'd drained the very last drop. Like I said before, we'd done these late night snack raids before, and we knew that to keep from having the evidence discovered in the morning we had to take the empty jar back to our room and stash it away where it wouldn't be found.